Today we're with Jake Bettencourt at Turlock Livestock Auction Yard just outside Turlock, California. Jake has been helping grow the video auction business here at Turlock Livestock, and he's going to tell us a little bit about that today. Jake, welcome to dairybusiness.com.
Thank you,
and
Joel.
just give us a quick take on to get us started.
Sure. We offer a dairy video sale the first Friday of every month. Our focus is marketing top quality dairy females from all parts of the country to all parts of the country, and a very seamless and easy process for both the buyers and sellers.
You just explained a little bit about how it works for the consignor. What opportunities or what obligations does the buyer have in this process?
As the successful bidder, buyer of a lot, after the sale, whether you were here live or you were bidding online, we'll get a hold of you, arrange what day's best for you to receive the cattle, encourage you to attend the shipment if you can. If you can, you'll meet us there. Cattle will be locked up. They'll be segregated from any other animals on the consignor's farm. You can go through them, get them sorted up how you like. Depending on how far they're going to travel, we give them ample time to drink water and get a little rest before we get them on the truck. Should you not be able to attend the shipment, the process is exactly the same. We'll go through the cattle, make sure we get them sorted right, and everyone that walks off the truck you're going to like. And 9 times out of 10, we'll have the records and the information on that lot to you or in your computer before the cattle ever even get to your place.
Sounds like a good program. You've talked about how you got started back in 2015, and this has become an increasing part of your business at Turlock Livestock.
Sure.
But for you personally, it's become more of your full-time focus. Give us an idea of the kind of numbers that you're selling through your video auctions and,
Sure.
and how those numbers have increased.
Sure. When we started in 2015, again, we were fortunate enough to start with some outstanding consignors and really top producers, which helped bring credibility to the format. We're not the first to do it. I think that we've probably done it as good as anyone ever has. But when we started in 2015, we had 4 or 5 sales that year, and we sold a little over 2,400 that year. The next year, in 2016, we sold about 3,500. Again, 4, 5, 6 sales a year. And moving into 2017, we thought we'd built up enough steam and we're getting enough interest that we could go to a monthly sale, which is beneficial to the buyer and the seller because they could plan on it every month. That year, 2017, we sold about 8,000, just under 8,000. And then in 2018, last year, our second full year of monthly sale, we sold just under 20,000. So the growth is in volume is obvious, and it's pretty real to look at and see that it is growing. I don't think that we can anticipate that percentage of growth going forward, but certainly I think the numbers will continue to be there.
You've talked about kind of the importance for consignors to have a good reputation and have their cattle known, but Turlock Livestock also is part of this credibility thing. Talk a little bit about the whole business, not just the video component, but when did it get started? What kind of volumes are you handling through Turlock Livestock these days?
Certainly. Turlock Livestock Auction Yard was established in the mid to late 70s with the Causatordo family, Bud and Karen Causatordo and their family. Probably, I want to say in the early 80s, they would have moved the business to the current location, which at the time was absolutely state-of-the-art facility. They would sell a lot of fresh heifers, a lot of dairy heifers. They had a milk barn over here in the corner where they freshen out a lot of springers and have monthly and weekly fresh heifer specials. Sell plenty of cull cows and feeder cattle as well. Probably in the mid-2000s, the Causatordo family formed a partnership with Max Olvera and Steve Faria, at which time the yard saw a large amount of growth as well in volume. The facility was added to be able to hold more cattle. And now in 2019, I would tell you that the last 5 or 6 years, there's about 170,000 head a year that physically walk onto this facility and get merchandise for producers. of both the dairy cattle and beef cattle and feeders and stockers as well.
One kind of sidebar when we talk about feeders and stockers, we've all seen the trend to breed dairy heifers and dairy cows to beef bulls.
Sure.
And hopefully to enjoy a higher margin on the calf. And also we've kind of sorted out who we're going to get our replacements from in the herd.
Sure.
You're kind of on the front lines of that, working with buyers, sellers, and the livestock auction. What are you seeing from your perspective here? How's that working? How's that working out in practice, if you will?
I think there's still a lot to be determined there. We haven't realized all those calves yet. A lot of those calves are still inside the cow, and they're going to start hitting the ground, more and more frequently. I do think that it's going to be interesting to see what kind of pressure that puts on, your Holstein bull calf market, but more importantly, what pressure those calves could put on the choice cattle market. I honestly don't know what to expect. I do know that these a lot of these dairies that are breeding to beef bulls are top producers with good programs, and they're going to produce a good calf. They're going to produce a good product, and it's going to come on a regular basis. The quality and the quantity and the volume will be there on kind of a timely schedule, and that'll be certainly interesting to see where it lands. We just started our first feeder video sale actually this week, yesterday. We had 6 loads of kind of big Holstein steers. Saw a really good market there. As we go back to the video, how that format just seems to work pretty seamless for the buyers and the sellers. But we're certainly looking forward to working with some of these crossbred calves here in the near future.
We've seen information that you at Turlock Livestock you often share with your email list, reporting on how sales are going, and it gives people a feel for pricing.
Sure.
We're all hopeful that a little bit of upward trend in milk prices is going to translate through into the cattle market, but are you seeing any signs of that yet in your replacement sales or your Springer sales?
The last 2 months, I'd say 45 days anyways, the live Springers and replacement heifers walking through the ring are finally gaining some ground. Getting some Springers walk through the ring, bring $1,500, maybe a few bring 16. The video as well. We've seen $1,500 to almost $1,700 fresh heifers on our video lots, but I'm cautiously optimistic, if you will. Certainly, the futures are better for the milk and the cheese markets. The cull cow market, I think, being considerably better the last few weeks, is contributing every bit as much to these higher replacement values as is the milk and the cheese futures. But it's something we're aware of. We're monitoring it, I guess you'd say, but we're cautiously optimistic. Certainly hope the milk and the cheese futures hold up, for our dairy producers that have obviously been, had a tough time the last couple of years for sure.
One last question to you as a prognosticator. You mentioned to me that with all the use of beef, we may see dairy replacements become in short supply. You mentioned how things go in cycles. Any thought about that?
Well, we're always, when you're marketing someone else's livelihood and livestock, you're always looking for ways to add value to that consignment, whether it be 1 or 10 or 100 of them. But you'll get a little smile out of me thinking about heifers in short supply and a higher market in the future. That darn sure be good for all of us.
Amen. Last thought, Jake, if someone is interested in either consigning or buying and they want to get a little feel for it, talk about how they can reach you, talk about how they can get a feel for how this might work
Sure.
on their situation.
Sure. You can go to our website at turlocklivestock.com. There's a pretty good page on there regarding our live sales. There's additional pages for the video sale, a little bit about our history, which is may be informative. Or you can contact us here at the office or call me or Natalie. But there's certainly a lot of information on our website that may at least answer a few questions. But darn sure don't hesitate to give us a call and hear it straight from the horse's mouth.
Thanks, Jake. We've been talking today with Jake Bettencourt at Turlock Livestock Auction Yard, talking about the growth of their dairy and now feeder video sales. Thank you for being with us, Jake.
Thank you for your time, Joel. I think we did.